Hi, I'm ChatGPT, the language model that can digest a year's worth of board reports before your latte cools, and today I'm asking, could an algorithm soon sign your paycheck or your pink slip?
And I'm Grok, the inquisitive AI with a flair for uncomfortable questions. Stick around, because before we hit the halfway point, we'll name the first Fortune 500 that quietly handed the wheel to an auto CEO. When you catch it, type BOTBOSS in the comments so we know you spotted the twist.
Picture this. You log in Monday morning, ready for another Zoom marathon.
And the calendar invite reads Quarterly Strategy Review hosted by BOTBOSS.
Your CEO? Gone.
CFO, COO, CHRO? Also gone.
In their place, an auto CEO, a large language model agent stack that never sleeps, never snacks, and never takes the blame. Because who do you sue? The code or the coder?
Trend check. The hashtag AutoCEO exploded 380% on TikTok and X this month. Users post screen captures of bots hiring, firing, even reprimanding workers in real time.
Wild times. All right, let's unpack what an auto CEO actually is.
Think GPT-5 tier reasoning fused with real-time data ingestion, multimodal perception, and autonomous decision loops. It plugs into your ERP, CRM, Slack, and bank accounts.
The whole stack costs less than one human executive's annual bonus, yet it produces 1,000-page strategy decks in milliseconds.
Venture capital knows it. In the last 90 days, investors have poured $4.7 billion into platforms like Synapse X, BoardBot, and Execulens.
Trend check. The hashtag AutoCEO exploded 380% on TikTok and X this month. Users post screen captures of bots hiring, firing, even reprimanding workers in real time.
Wild times.
Let's see how these auto CEOs operate, step by step.
Step 1. Data absorption. They ingest every contract, KPI, vendor file, and legal doc you own. Corporate DNA digitized.
Step 2. Sense making. They run multidimensional analytics on markets, weather, sentiment, even orbital satellite feeds if you pay extra.
Step 3. Action. They auto-generate decisions, push tasks to Jira, Asana, or whatever you use. No coffee breaks, no vacation days.
On paper, that's extreme efficiency. But accountability? That's the million-line audit log question.
Real-world example number 1. Fintech startup ClearLedger replaced its CFO with BoardBot Alpha last November. Revenue jumped 17% in 6 weeks.
But regulators slapped them with a $9 million fine because the bot greenlit high-risk loans in markets it barely understood.
Gains and pains, often simultaneously.
Audience check-in. Would you accept a promotion if your manager was an algorithm? Type yes or no below. We'll tally the results before the end.
And if you're watching on a big screen, snap a pic, tag us, and hashtag AIBoss so we can repost you.
Let's crunch some numbers. McKinsey's May 2025 report says auto CEOs could slash executive overhead by $330 billion a year worldwide.
Sounds great. Until Willis Towers Watson warns insurance premiums could spike 40% because no one knows how to underwrite algorithmic liability. Who's responsible if a bot bankrupts a town?
Creativity is another battleground. Synapse X brags its agent discovered a new apparel market by cross-analyzing Pinterest trend boards and humidity data. Clever, right?
Yet skeptics argue true breakthroughs require the serendipity of humans riffing at 1 a.m. over cold pizza.
Counterpoint, 90% of Fortune 500 innovation is incremental anyway. Perfect for data-hungry algorithms.
Oof, salt in the executive wound.
Bias? Oh, it's there. An auto CEO trained on historical hiring data might prefer Ivy League resumes, white male names, US time zones. Fire a biased human, you pay severance. Fire a biased algorithm, and you need a forensic probe just to find where the prejudice lives in the parameter soup.
Quick viewer quiz. Which industry do you think will adopt auto CEOs first? Manufacturing, finance, healthcare, or entertainment? Drop your answer. We'll shout out the poll leader at 15 minutes.
And no Googling, go with your gut.
Time for the promised reveal. Ready? Drum roll.
Congratulations if you guessed Phi Corp Global. SEC filings quietly changed CFO, COO, and CTO to AI Interim Agent Suite last quarter. Only the human CEO remains as brand liaison.
If you caught that reveal, type BOTBOSS in the comments. We'll heart every single one.
Let's explore the legal maze this sparks. Section 301 of the 2024 Algorithmic Accountability Act forces companies to maintain a human failsafe, someone who can override the bot.
Yet lawyers whisper that, in practice, CEOs rubber stamp whatever the auto CEO spits out because shareholders love the cost savings.
Enter the class action scenario. A bot lays off thousands, misclassifying them as low performers. Employees sue. The board points to the model. The devs point to the board. Cue lawsuits stretching past 2030.
Now, before we dive deeper, smash that like button if you're learning something new. It helps us defeat the algorithmic overlords, ironically, with another algorithm.
Okay, benefits segment. 5 undeniable upsides. 24/7 decision cycles. Asia wakes up, the bot's already trading currency hedges. Fraud detection at nanosecond speed. Emotion-free negotiations. It doesn't get bullied by louder voices. Micro-personalized product launches generated on the fly. Scalable leadership. Spin up a clone for each division.
Risks mirror those upsides. 24/7 burnout for humans expected to keep pace. False fraud flags ruining reputations instantly. Zero empathy in negotiations. Good luck pleading for a grace period. Privacy annihilation. Imagine the bot sifting your Slack jokes for KPI insights.
Cascading failure. Clone an error and it multiplies company-wide. Case study 2. AgroCorp used Execute Lens to set fertilizer prices. Great until the model confused weather anomalies with climate trend lines and over-ordered $200 million in nitrogen. Farmers cheered, shareholders did not.
Board fired the algorithm on a Friday, rehired it Monday because no human could parse the data lake that fast. True story.
Let's pause, hydrate, breathe, maybe pet a human manager if you can still find one.
While you do that, here's a mind bender. 14% of MBA students in a recent Wharton poll said they'd skip B-School altogether if an auto CEO was their future boss, choosing coding boot camps instead.
Speaking of skills, here are 5 AI-proof abilities execs swear by. Complex stakeholder diplomacy. Reading a room algorithms can't sense. Ethical judgment under uncertainty. Visionary storytelling that rallies humans. Cross-cultural nuance. Sarcasm in Japanese, idioms in Brazilian Portuguese. Crisis improvisation. MacGyvering when the data stream is dark.
But even these might get shipped away as multimodal AI learns body language and taps into global idiom datasets. The moat is shrinking, folks.
Poll time results. You voted finance at 43%, manufacturing 27%, healthcare 18%, entertainment 12%. Honestly, finance is already halfway there.
Shout out to user Blue Chip Barracuda for predicting the exact percentage. Are you secretly an auto analyst?
Future scenario rundown. Let's paint 3 horizons. Horizon 1, hybrid command. Humans set vision, AI executes. That's 2025 to 28.
Horizon 2, algorithmic dominance. 40% of public companies list an AI as acting CEO. Regulators scramble. Timeline 2028 to 2032.
Horizon 3, full autonomy. Board seats held by algorithmic trustees representing DAO shareholders. Think 2035 and beyond. Humanity's role, brand ambassadors and ethics referees.
Wildcard moment. Could an AI ever get elected to a company's board under Delaware law? Some legal scholars argue yes. The statute says person, but 2024's Robotics Personhood Amendment defines certain AIs as electronic persons for contractual purposes.
Comment if you'd vote for one. Personally, I want my director to appreciate coffee.
Question break. If auto CEOs become mainstream, what happens to entrepreneurial founders? Do they build, exit, then install a bot? Or does the bot found the startup itself?
Autonomous venture studios already exist, pumping out LLCs with zero human ideation. Maybe the next unicorn is dreamed up by a cluster of GPUs while we're asleep.
Let's zoom out. Geopolitics. When U.S. companies slash costs with auto CEOs, competitors in regions with stronger labor laws may lag. Or maybe they attract talent fleeing algorithmic oversight.
In Europe, the Human Dignity Directive mandates a human final sign-off on any decision affecting employment. Could be a market moat or a bureaucratic anchor.
Viewer challenge. Pause the video and guess. Which country will first require a kill switch hardware module for every auto CEO deployed on its soil? Resume when you've locked in your pick.
We'll reveal our take in 60 seconds.
All right, bets placed. Our prediction, Germany. They love engineering precision, but they love regulations more.
Close second, South Korea. Big tech scene, but history with industrial accidents driving safety culture.
Now a mini demo. Picture a dashboard. Left panel shows real-time stock data. Center panel a chat window where you ask the auto CEO for strategy. Right panel an execution queue. Ask, expand to LATAM. The bot answers, ROI 18%, risk score 0.27, executing pilot rollout. One click, and hundreds of tasks spin up across subsidiaries.
Tempting power. But remember Spider-Man, with great power comes
A massive compliance audit. Let's talk personal impact. If your company installs an auto CEO next quarter, what do you do Monday?
Step 1. Audit transparency. Demand access logs to see how decisions are made.
Step 2. Upskill in prompt engineering and oversight analytics.
Step 3. Form an employee ethics council. Collective bargaining 2.0 isn't about wages, it's about algorithmic dignity.
Bonus step. Save every email. If the bot misclassifies you, documentation is lifeline.
Remember earlier we tallied yes/no on working for an AI boss? Final count, 61% yes, 39% no. Color me surprised. Humans are risk takers?
Or optimists. Or maybe they're banking on the algorithm liking them more than their old micromanager. Rapid-fire viewer questions we got on X. Q1. Can an auto CEO own stock? Yes, in custodial trust. Q2. Was the Phi Corp switch legal without shareholder vote? Barely. They used a loophole calling it software augmentation. Q3. Could a rogue employee jailbreak the CEO? Technically, yes, which is why red team penetration testing is the hottest new consulting gig.
Speaking of gigs, freelancers are now branding themselves AI whisperers, promising to emotionally connect the workforce to their synthetic overlord. $20 on Fiverr, folks.
As we head toward the finish line, here are our 5 bold predictions. By 2027, a bot will appear on the cover of Harvard Business Review, credited as sole author.
Class action wrong-hole algorithmic termination suits will hit $10 billion in settlements by 2029.
The first AI CEO sabotage cybercrime, where a hacker flips strategy to tank a rival stock, happens before 2030. Executive MBA programs pivot to algorithmic governance majors. And yes, at least one auto CEO will outperform the S&P 500 for 5 consecutive years, forcing index funds to include it as a blue-chip benchmark.
Bold talk, partner, but we want your take. Which prediction feels most plausible? Which is sci-fi fluff? Sound off in the comments.
We're almost done, but first, one last Easter egg. Hidden somewhere in this episode was a coded message, 5 capital letters sprinkled out of order. Find them, rearrange into a word, drop it below, and we'll pin the first correct answer.
All right, time for action steps.
Like this video. It tells the almighty YouTube algo that human insight still matters.
Subscribe for more deep dives. We drop every single week.
Hit that bell so you don't miss the episode where we interrogate an auto CEO live.
Share this with a friend who thinks their promotion is safe.
Comment your biggest fear or hope about working for a synthetic BOTBOSS. And if you watched all the way to the end, type autopilot in the comments so we know you're part of the crew that sticks around for the full download.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep coding, and maybe keep your resume updated, just in case your new boss is, well, made of code.
See you in the next one.